Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday afternoon, July 19th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of SPY, IWM, and Triple Qs. Pretty incredible day as far as even how mechanical it was. I mean, Russell's incredible. Russell rallied $5.50 off the low, only to not fill their gap by 1 tick in righty and 2 cents in IWM. Incredible stuff. Triple Qs hold their gap. It's still fairly sizable, about just about 200 ticks. We have the largest gap by far. Our gap is over 421 cents in SPY. Very mechanical. We get down to the single prints from June 22nd, have a weak low against them. We have a B shape for long liquidation until M period kind of distorts it a little bit, but I will still call it that. We end 8 wide. We're going to have a huge playground to play in. Right now, our volume is at 137, 138 million. We're going to be at least the 5th heaviest of the year, possibly the 3rd. Now, that's pretty impressive, but it also shows you how poor the volume has been throughout the year. Most of those volumes have been done when we tested the 50-day moving average. We got below the 50-day moving average again, maybe for the 8th time, but again, we closed above it. Now, one day doesn't make a market. I'm not giving an all-clear signal because we closed above it. We have a large gap above us. Our next destination on the weekly is really the 415 level. There's some changes that took place on the charts. Monthly is fine, but the weekly is now balanced. The daily is down. Had a good day trading and didn't do much in the afternoon because the afternoon became a total rotational chop fest. What I did do is in A period, I took a short against the opening. We actually got above it, came back in, took it off way too fast, made small on that. And then in A period, I actually took a long against the gap fill from back on whatever date it was to see if we got an initial reaction off it, which we did. So I did the 429 puts, I made small in A, 422 calls, did well on that. B period, even though we were one time framing down, actually took a long against the 50-day moving average the first time we got there, and that worked out, the 422 calls. Now, we never even attempted to go trend on the day. I think we had a single print for about 15 seconds one time frame, but I shorted C period with the one time framing down, and believe it or not, lost money on that as soon as we took out B's high. I took it off on the 426 puts. But then I didn't do anything. So then C, D, and E went up. Did nothing. G period actually took a short against the IB low. I'm saying we're going to definitely get the IB low at some point. Finally, I took the 425 puts, made money on that one. And then my last trade of the day, again, was a long, basically thinking that we would hold the 50-day moving average in H period, the 421 calls. Made money on it, nothing great, but did okay on that. And then it became, like I said, a total chop fest, and M period is so unpredictable, I just stayed out of it. So I did okay on the day. Nothing great, nothing big. I think my biggest trade, I had 40 contracts at one point. That is it. In fact, that was in I period. So I took the long to start in H, and then I made a new low, and we weren't getting extension. I added to it, and we came back into H's range, and around the 50, took the rest of them off. So, again, not a bad day, and I didn't play anything big. In this type of trading environment, if we get volatility, that's all we want is volume and volatility. Even if you're wrong, you're going to get many opportunities to come back and get right. So, those are things, don't despair on these type of days. As far as destinations, so we closed, they have us closing at 425.11 in the SPY. So right now my first destination is the day's high, which is 426.71. So $1.60 away from where we closed. And then filling the gap at 430.92, a 421 point gap. And then if we ever get close to filling that gap, you should have all the other ones that I gave on Friday and even this morning. For the downside, again, we closed at 4. This is amazing. We closed at 425.11. Now, I know we're 8 wide. I'm not going to totally ignore it. But my first destination to the downside until we get more market-generated information is today's low, a 421.97. And it's a poor low. And then 421.96 filling the single prints at 89 cents. 421.75 filling single prints at 38 cents. These are all from June 22nd. Another set, 421.20, get filled at 14 from the 22nd, and 420.08 daily low. So, let's go to the charts. And before I get to the charts, just quickly, it's going to be, and I know I use this a lot, but it's going to be like hitting a golf ball in a racquetball court. You're going to be ducking all over tomorrow if they open inside this range, because there's nothing really to lean on. It'll be interesting in M's range if we get down to the POC, things of that nature. And then on the chart, just going to show you SPY. Monthly, I'm not going to even look at. That's healthy. Weekly is now in balance. Even though it's a gap, and it's a weekly gap, it's balanced. We went from one time framing up for 4 weeks. Now we're in balance as we took out 3 weekly lows. Now, the reason I'm saying tomorrow is important, especially for the daily, if we take out today's low, the ultimate destination right now, for now, is 415.93 on the weekly. So it's going to be important to see if we hold that. Okay? And then eventually, I might as well show you the monthly, because 414, why don't I write 414.70 as a monthly low? That's not, oh yeah, 414.70, last month's low. So that's where things are very important. The monthly is very healthy right now. But if we are to get more selling and test that weekly low and become a 4-day balance, or maybe even at next week take out this week's low and go and get it, and now you're one-time framing down, then the monthly could come into play. But for now, we're in balance in the weekly with a gap. And then on the daily, we've gone from balance to down. Now we have a bad tick. I fixed it on the daily. Today's high is 426.71. They're showing, oh, actually the weekly fixed itself. The daily I had to fix. So 426.71 is today's high. Look how many times, my friends, we've tested the 50-day moving average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times we've traded below the 50. Only, I think, 2 we closed below there. Now, the volume right now is 145 million. Here's your 4 highest volumes of the year. 183 on March 4th. 152 on March 5th. And I missed these 2 for the room. Again, 152 on February 25th. And 146 on, wait a second, that's the 25th. The 26th was 152, and the 25th was 146. So right now, we're at 145. So I can't imagine we're not going to get above 146 with the after hours. Good chance we even take out those 2 152 ones. Well, if we do, we can possibly have the second highest volume of the year. It's pretty interesting. Now, there was a lot of absorption, a lot at these lows today. So here's what I proposed. Yes, it's a B shape, without a doubt. Was that long-term buying absorbing these weak longs and the shorts that we're trying to push? Now, if we take out today's low and go down another $3, $4, then I'm wrong. But if we put in a short-term low for now, and attempt to get back into the gap, I don't think that gap will get filled the first time. It's going to take a huge catalyst to fill that gap the first time. So here's the question. Are we going to get into the gap a little bit, rally a bit, and then maybe roll over again and try to get to that 415 level? Or are we going to go straight down and take out today's low? I don't have the answer to that. And I am still curious to see if I'm right. Was this possible long-term buyers absorbing down here? Think about it. They know. They're not stupid. They know how the market's acted at the 50-day moving average, right? So that's a possibility that's what transpired today. We had a good day in the trading room. Kept a lot of people out of trouble. Bounced around ideas all day. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Have a great evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.